I'm in love with the polar regions. I'm very much connected to the universe. And I'm in love with life. Esther Horvath, documentary photographer. With my work, I mainly focus on the polar regions. I mainly work with scientists delivering important climate data for us. It is so wonderful to be on this journey and being surrounded with so many creators and like-minded creators, because you can exchange with people who understands your process. You can speak with people who have same thoughts or same creative mind and process. And I think being together in a group where all of us is so different, we can really learn from each other. So I was very much looking forward to this trip also because of that reason. I think this trip will affect my future work. So right now we will go to Albufera, and this is one of the biggest wetlands in Spain. And with my photography, I work with climate scientists who researching what are the changes, what we experience in the polar regions, which changes. There is no industry in the high Arctic, so the changes are not coming from that area, it comes from where we live. And what I find now super exciting about this photo shoot, what we will have in the afternoon, is we are here, we will go to a wetland, which can be a solution to slow down climate change, because wetlands can absorb a lot of carbon, actually much more than tropical forests. And that's why wetlands have a very important role fighting climate change. And so that's why for me, like this is gonna be for me actually the first time working with a scientist working in wetlands, and for me the first time working in a wetland. And this topic has been interested me for a very long time because it is a solution. For me, it's like I need the 24/7 T, because when I work in the polar regions, I cannot change lens in a snowstorm. So for me, I need a lens which I can use for any occasion, and mainly actually I shoot 24 or 35. So what I do is when I go out on a shoot, I put it on 35. And I keep it that way because after a while the lens and the oil or the fat what is inside is frozen from the cold temperatures. So then I always get a moment where you cannot turn it anymore because it's so cold. I'm also super curious for the 35 and the 24 because these are actually like I shoot either 24 or 35. And because I cannot change the lenses and I'm out in a snowstorm, that's the reason I'm using this. I'm constantly switching 35, 24, and then I shoot. Okay, I put it on 35. So I try to stay on that look that I stay. For me, so far, the most beautiful moment of this trip was Anna Maria and me went into the little pond where she was taking samples and just getting into the wet or like these dry trousers that you can stay dry and walking into this little marsh pond area and being with her there in her element and in my element, and then sharing this moment of being in such a joy doing, like we both doing what we love to do. And And just being in these trousers, these dry trousers, it was just, I felt like, yeah, this is exactly, these moments are why I love to do this type of photography, what I do, what they are doing. I need to understand the topic, and I really dig myself deep into the scientific field. Don't move. And I just take a portrait like that. Every time I take a picture, I'm amazed like how sharp the images are. And it's so easy to make it look sharp.
Nailed it!
What a day!
How do you feel?
So wonderful.
Oh, yeah, it was super nice.
Wait, I'm gonna be
We're proud of you. But you already finished, done. You already
I could spend the next 3 months just with her in the pond. Like, it's like when I work with scientists, it's very difficult to get me out of the scene and continue. And what is really nice is scientists love to do their stuff for a long time,
Yeah.
and I love to do
Explain it.
my mind thing for a long time. So it was super nice. And see?
Curious.
Okay. So this is like we were walking on the
really
way.
nice.
That's where we went. I thought my baby is the D850, but I have to tell this is gonna be my new
These are
baby
really
because
nice.
it's like so easy to use. The focus was so easy to use, like the function that you can put the focus on the eyes and it stays there. That's really, really helpful in an environment where you move a lot. I gave up many things in my life to follow that path. Like I moved from Vienna to New York. I gave up my job that time. I packed everything, and with 2 suitcases, I moved to New York City to study at the International Center of Photography. And all these changes in my life was because I asked myself, like, if I imagine myself being an 85 years old woman who thinks back on her life, how would I think about myself? I remember I was a 6 years old child being born in Hungary, and that time still behind the Iron Curtain. There was a scientific magazine in TV which started always with an intro when men march in a snowstorm. And as a child, it inspired me and it fascinated me so much that I felt that I really want to experience this on my own. I felt like seeing the snowstorm, I felt that I want to experience that snowstorm on my face. But I was a girl, I only saw men doing that, and I lived also behind the Iron Curtain, so for me it was like almost impossible. Being as a girl and having this dream experience in the polar regions, this is also a motivation why I'm doing the Women of Arctic Science project, because I want to show girls, young adults, young women that if you put your mind into something, if you work for something hard, you can reach what you want to do. You can reach your dreams.
When I met Esther, it reminded me at myself when I was motivated for doing what I was doing. She's what we call a concerned photographer, and she's treating very important and serious matters related to climate change. And I think she's very passionate, and that is what is most important.
For me, a good or strong photograph is the one where I stay longer and which I want to discover, which raises an interest in me, and I want to spend more time to wow, what is this?
If you could switch places with other creators for a day, who would you switch with and why?
I would switch with Esther.
Yeah.
Go to the Arctic.
I would be happy to be in Svalbard.
The emotion I want when they look at my images is care, that they start to think about what can I do in my personal life, what can I do as one person and one being to do changes. I like so much the quote from Mahatma Gandhi, who said that if you want to see a change in the world, you have to start the change with yourself.
Ready?
Ready?
Ready.
Ready?
Ready.
Ready.
Action.